I greet you all, my students, wherever you are. I'm Madam Phoebe Kariuki. I'll take you through Service Quality Management, that is BHT4103. Welcome to this session. Service quality. Service quality management, it's normally a very, very important thing for one to note always whenever you're working and whenever you're serving your clients or your customers. So service quality management, as per the units, it's normally an act of helpful activity and quality of services rendered to the customers receiving those specific services. So the act of helpful activity and the quality of services rendered to the customers receiving those specific services. It's very important for one to understand that and put it clear that whenever you're to serve people, your clients in your business, in your enterprise, you always have to consider how helpful you become to that specific clientele so that you can serve them with the specific services they want rendered to them and for them to feel satisfied at the end of the service. So service quality, that's what it means. Service quality management also can be said to be those measures of how products and services are supplied by a certain company to meet and surpass the consumer's expectation. In the very first definition, I concentrated on saying rendering to the customers who are to receive the specific services. That's a helpful activity. On the second one, I said ensuring that you're meeting those specific products and services and you supply them to the customers. And apart from supplying them with those specific services, you also ensure that you surpass the consumer's expectation, and by so doing, you'll be rendering or maybe doing what you call service quality management. Quality management. Quality management is closely linked to the concept of continuous improvement. So for you to have what you call service quality management, you must have always what we call quality management whenever you are doing or rendering services to your customers, by ensuring that you keep improving how you render those services and those products to your customers. And by so doing, you'd be ensuring or maybe going towards what we call quality management. So quality management is closely linked to the concept of a continuous improvement of the services to your customers or to your clientele. Then, since we've talked much about the issues of service quality and the quality management, whereby you ensure that you surpass the service customers' expectation of what they expected from you, you surpass that. That is quality management. Then service quality is now the way you supply those specific products and services to your customers to make them feel satisfied once they consume your services and your products. Then you have measuring service quality. How do you measure service quality, or how do you know you're providing the best service quality in your company, in your business, for your clients? One of the things that you should use to measure service quality is by that one term that is normally known, and it has been empirically tested. It is the ServQual service delivery model. And under this service quality model is whereby it gives you the specifics on how you can deliver or how you can give this service quality to your customers or to your clientele. And this model now specifies specific components where high quality services can be rendered to the customer. So measuring service quality, you have to use the ServQual model the SAFQUAL service quality model, which is widely known, empirically tested, and generally accepted, so that every company, every individual will know once they are delivering a service to a customer, they are delivering the right services and the right way, and in the right way and manner. So that is SAFQUAL service quality model. It highlights on the main components of the high quality services. This model normally highlights the specific main components of high quality services to the customers. These elements of service quality, which is RATA, are as follows: reliability. And when you talk about one component being the reliability, is the ability to perform the promised services dependably and accurately. You see, once you're delivering a service to your customer, you actually promise them, or maybe told them this is what you're going to provide, then you should be at the forefront to have what you call to be reliable, whereby you can perform those promised services dependably and also accurately. That is what you call reliability as one of the elements, all the components under the SAFQUAL service quality model. And it's also, by doing so, you will be knowing you're under the measurement of offering the best service quality. The other one is assurance. Assurance is also another element or component which is in the SAFQUAL model. And for you to know that you're using or measuring your service quality being delivered, or you are delivering to your customers, then you must know that all these components are within you and in your organization, so that at least you'll be measuring, or maybe you know that you're also delivering the services quality, the service quality to the best for your customers and for you all, for your clientele. So assurance. Assurance is just the knowledge and the courtesy of employees and their ability to convey trust and confidence. Assurance is the knowledge and the courtesy of employees to their and their ability to convey trust and confidence to or upon their customers. So with the issue of this component assurance, you've first of all certified the issue of reliability, where you become reliable and you're dependable. Your customer can depend on you again and again. They can come back to you. So the other one is assurance, whereby you have to ensure that what the employees you've employed in your companies, they must be able to convey trust and confidence whenever they are doing what you call in service delivery to their customers, so that these customers, whenever they come back for those, especially when you are offering best services, customers will always feel like going back to that business, to that company, because of the assurance they were given from the employees who delivered certain services to them. So they already conveyed what you call trust and confidence upon those clientele or the customers. So they keep coming again and again. So that is the essence, or what you say, the component of assurance. You have to assure your customers. The other component or element under the SAFQUAL model is the tangibles. The tangibles. And when you talk about the tangibles, these are the physical facilities, equipments, personnel, and also the communication system or materials people are using, or maybe a company is using, towards delivering a service quality. You must ensure that if you are to deliver a service, those delivering service systems are friendlier, are comfortable, are making customers to feel satisfied whenever they are to consume a service from your establishment. So tangibles normally are the appearances of the physical facilities, equipment, personnel, and also the communication material. They should be very, very much appealing to the customers, so that they keep coming again and again to consume the services you are delivering to them, because of the tangibles that were there in your company or in your establishment. So physical appearance, that is key. Even from the employees, they should always be smart in a way to to tell the customers that you should be comfortable whenever you are to consume a service, a product from us, because of the outward looking of the customers. They are just appealing. The physical appearance are also very appealing and all that. Also, the equipment should be functional and also very good in appearance as well, so that whenever a customer is to consume a service or a product from that establishment, they will feel that their services has already been delivered even before they consume them. We have empathy. Empathy is the provision of caring, individualized attention to the customers in terms of service provision. Empathy. The provision of caring, individualized attention to the customers in terms of the service provision. What I mean here is that empathy is how you care for your customers. The very first attention you give to them whenever they come into your establishment, whenever they are to receive a certain, maybe to give, to inquire about a certain thing, you should always be there to give them proper care and attention whenever they have queries. So with that, that is empathy. And by so doing, by you showing that act of empathy to your customer, then you'll be measuring what you call service quality being perfect, and it will become perfect at the end of the day because of that spirit of caring that you have in your establishment. That is empathy. The more you become caring, the more your customers feel part and parcel of your company, and once they consume a service, they will already feel satisfied even before consuming it. Then you have the other element, responsiveness. Responsiveness now is still under the SAFCO model, which is normally a tool that is used to measuring service quality. And responsiveness now, this is the willingness to help customers and to provide prompt services. Responsiveness, this is the willingness to help customers and to provide prompt services to them. So responsiveness, this is where you act fast on their queries. You also become very willing and very much attentive to answering their questions and also to being there whenever they need a certain help. That is responsiveness. You respond to your customers in time, and with that, then you'll be offering what you call a service, and it will be of quality because customers will keep coming again because they know once you go to that that office, whenever you go to that company, they respond to your queries very fast and they try to offer you with the service that you need rendered to you. Quality service delivery gaps. I've just talked about the how you measure your service quality if you're to render them to your customers. And we've talked about responsiveness, we've talked about empathy, we've talked about the assurance and also the tangibles and the issue of reliability. All those are components to ensure that you are measuring your service you are delivering to your customers. There's also the issue of quality service delivery gaps. In every service delivery, there's normally certain gaps that are normally maybe outlined or maybe they are always there. And for those gaps to be filled, then there must be something that must come to counteract and provide what you call a good service at the end of the day. And that is now the gaps you're talking about. Whenever you're delivering a service, there must be a gap that you must look into ways and means in which you can fill those gaps to ensure quality service delivery. Then we have in this service quality, we have certain gaps that need to be filled. And gap number one is normally the gap between customer expectation and management perception. Between customer expectation and management perception When you talk about the customer expectation, every customer has an expectation whenever a certain service or a product has been related to him or maybe has been spoken or maybe taken to him. Then you have what you call a certain expectation for that service to be delivered to him. Then that customer expectation we'll have also what you call management of the perception. The customer will have a feeling, that's so now what you call a perception. We'll have a feeling of maybe wanting that specific expectation he had to be fulfilled. So this gap one, it's between the customer expectation and the management of the perception the customer already has or has attained. So this is when the management does not correctly perceive what the customer wants. So under the customer expectation, of course, the customer has got some certain expectation, but you as the service deliverer, you will not automatically know what the customer is feeling about that specific service you are to offer or deliver. So that is now the gap one. This is when the management does not correctly perceive what the customer wants. Then it remains as a gap. Nobody knows how or when maybe that expectation can be perception can be corrected. So that is perceived. That is a gap left. So gap one. Then we have gap two. When you talk about gap two, it's between the management perception and the service quality specification. And the service quality specification. So gap two between management perception and the service quality specification. This is not setting appropriate performance standard. For example, would be when a hospital administrator instructs nurses to a request fast and not specifying how fast. So with this, we find that every management has got some feeling or some perception of how maybe it should deliver a certain service to a customer. But they do not really know how that service quality is going to be specifically meeting those specific perceptions of the management. So this is now another gap that now the management fails to know how maybe to fill in the gap by ensuring that they are doing or setting an appropriate performance standard for ensuring there's a service quality specification met to those specific customers. So that one remains also as a gap. So when we have all these gaps, then it becomes necessary when those gaps are realized so that then a specific thing can come into being to counteracting or maybe to correcting all these gaps and also filling these gaps. Gap number three, we have between service quality specification and service delivery to customers. And this means that this is when there is a poorly trained personnel, incapable or unwilling to meet the required set standard for the service quality. Gap 3, I've said it's between service quality specification and service delivery to customers. That's a gap because whenever there's a service to be rendered, then there's maybe there's a poor trained personnel who are incapable of meeting the required set standards to deliver those quality services or service quality to the customers or the clientele. So that one now becomes another gap that has been established. Gap 4, between service delivery and the external communication. And these are now the statements made by the company offering services and the various statements offered. So you find that every company, they normally have maybe service delivery and how they can deliver them, but there's always a gap somewhere that may come between the service delivery and also the external communication. How do you communicate? Is it through advertisement? Is it through online advertisement, or maybe the television and all those kind, or face-to-face kind of a communication? Then that way, it becomes now a problem now to detect which is the best to ensure we have what we call proper service delivery to the customers. So this between service delivery and the external communication now poses or maybe brings the challenge to form what you call now a gap, which is now between service delivery, how is that service going to be delivered, and the external communication. These are the statements which I'm now saying these are the statements made by the company offering services and the various advertisements offered. So all these now, between the two now, forms what you call a gap, because no proper way of communication, maybe either through advertisement, has been detected to be the best to delivering the service quality and also to communicate to the people. And now that's why we have the specific gap. Then we have gap 5. Gap 5 now is normally between the expected services and the experienced services. The expected services and the experienced services. This is when customers misinterpret. This is when customers misinterpret the service quality offered or being delivered. Mostly we find that despite how good you try to deliver best services to your customers, you find that these customers still will never say that I was satisfied. They will continue saying I was dissatisfied with their customer. I went to that hotel, I was dissatisfied. No matter how good you try to do to satisfy your customers, they will still say in one way or the other, I was never satisfied in that hotel, in that institution, in that organization. They did this, they did that. So it is now a gap that has been formed because you never know the expected services your customers have and the experienced services. You don't know exactly what you gave as a service, what you rendered as a service to your customer was satisfying to them. Because no matter how you tried delivering those services, the customers still say they were dissatisfied. Now that forms as a gap, which is normally between the expected services and the experienced services. And I've said this is when customers misinterpret. There must be a misinterpretation, because no matter how good you do things, you deliver your services to your customers, you want them to be satisfied at the end of the day, they will still end up saying, I was dissatisfied. So that is now the 5 gaps I've identified for you. This gap 1, that is between the customer expectation and the management perception. Then management perception gap 2, between management perception and the service delivery. The service quality specification. That is also another gap, which I've said that since we have management perception, what they really want or maybe feel about a certain service and how it should be delivered, but still there is the essence of service quality specification, which specific service quality is to be rendered. That one now forms another very big gap that comes in between the perception and the service quality specification. Then gap 3, I've talked about between service quality specification and the service delivery to customers. And this is when we have poorly trained or incapable or even unwilling employees who are not ready to give in the best set standards for certain service delivery or service quality. Then we have gap 4, between service delivery and the external communication. No specific external communication has been relayed or given out to give the best service delivery to the customers, and this is now how the gap comes or come into existence between the expected services and experienced services, where we have customers misinterpreting the services offered or given in an institution or in an organization. Then we have, apart from those gaps and the issues of the SAFCO model, which I've said they have the 5 specific components of the elements, then you have ways in which you can improve service quality. Service quality in everything that you do is key, because it will now be the one that is going to enhance or ensure we have a loyal visitation to your company, to your institution, or maybe to your business, where you have customers coming again and again, is because of the specific issues of the service quality rendered. How do we improve service quality? How do we improve service quality, or how is service quality improved? 1, look at ensuring customers are getting their requirements in the recruitment and at the selection process, for effective service delivery. Look at ensuring customers are getting their requirements into the recruitment and at the selection process for effective service delivery. By this, it means that once you're to achieve a better service or an improved service quality, you must ensure that your customers whom you're interacting again and again in your establishment or in your business are getting the right requirements of what they are supposed to get in those service delivery process, by ensuring that you have best recruitments and also the best selection process, so that we have an effective employee delivering effective service, hence service quality. So you must ensure that customers are getting the right requirements by ensuring that you have the right recruitments and the right selection process of your employees for effective service delivery in an institution, in an establishment, and all that, for the customers to be fully satisfied at the end of the day. The other way of improving service quality is to always maintain a sensitive and efficient feedback system, whereby by having an efficient feedback system is whereby you have to encourage what you call complaints box, or maybe a feedback box, whereby customers can say whether they were satisfied with the services rendered to them or dissatisfied. And by so having an efficient back feedback system, then you will be able to correct your mistakes. Where you're not providing best services, you can now start providing best services and also improving them to enhance what you call sensitive and also efficient feedback. And by so doing, you will be improving again and again on the issues of service quality. So always encourage the feedbacks, because these feedbacks are going to build you, to build your organization, to build your business, to improving in areas where there is some weaknesses. And those weaknesses can only be detected by your customers through sensitive and the efficient feedback system. Establish standard operating procedures in your company, offering services to the customers for service satisfaction. Establish standard operating procedures in your company, offering services to customers for service satisfaction. The other way in which you can improve is to set clear standards of performance, detailing the minimum operating criteria and revisiting them again or often. And by so doing, you're going to improve your service quality. The other thing is you have to focus on training and retraining, especially on the specific jobs for your employees, so that they continue improving on ways of delivering services to your customers. And by so doing, you will be improving your service quality. Always motivate your staff members so that they can have the urge to offer great services to the customers. And the last one, always have a strong recovery strategies in your company. Importance of service quality: ensure superior quality products and services to customers. Ensure superior quality products and services to customers. It's also essential for customer satisfaction, which leads to customer loyalty. Helps an organization to design and create product which the customer actually wants and desires. Ensures increased revenues and higher productivity for the organization. Ensures there is close coordination between employees of an organization. Components of service quality: consider the guest being served, determine what the guest desires most, train the employees and the staff, implement the revised system, evaluate and modify service delivery. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Thank you. We shall interact more through the online. And whenever you have queries, feel free to ask. Thank you. Thank you.
These televised lectures supplement our robust online learning going on our MKU online platform. You can view more on our televised lectures via our online platform. We are in a digital era, and Mount Kenya University knows this. The following are the steps to follow so as to complete your online application. Download the application form from the website www.mku.ac.ke. Attach copies of your academic certificates and ID. Pay the application fees via M-Pesa pay bill number 270988. Your ID is the account number. 2,000 shillings is the charge for a postgraduate. You can also deposit in the bank accounts provided on the website. Then email all the above to apply@mku.ac.ke.